So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Wellbeing webinar this afternoon. I'm very pleased to be joined by Natalie Wallace, who is a Frontline Plus officer for the Healthy Lifestyles team, who's going to be taking us through today's topic, which is sport and physical activity. So as always, if you've got any questions, please just type them in the chat box and we can make sure we answer them. So over to you then, Natalie. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So hopefully you've been joining each week. So I know previously you've been looking at different topics around food and nutrition aspects of leading a healthy lifestyle, but today we'll be exploring physical activity. So if we look at why we actually eat food, so essentially food gives us energy, it's our fuel. So it helps our body function, our organs, our body to move, and for us to carry out our day-to-day tasks. So each one of us will have different levels of energy that we need, dependent on our lifestyles. So if we're not very active, our work is sort of office space, we won't need as much energy, food intake as others, for example, like a professional athlete. Essentially, we need to create an energy balance. So if we have a busy lifestyle, we need to have enough energy, eat enough food to get us through the day. If we're looking to lose weight, then we need to make an energy deficit. So we need to basically burn off the food that we're eating. If we're not doing enough exercise and we're not burning off the energy that we're taking in, then that's going to lead to us gaining weight. So the first question I'm going to ask is, why are we being less physically active? So if you've got a few ideas, if you put that in the chat. So think about the way society is, what we have in place. What is different to maybe when your parents were young? Technology, how people get around. So Eliza, you've got busy lifestyle. More stress because we use cars. Yep, so if we look at our day-to-day lifestyles now, we're a lot more busier. So we're sort of trying to juggle work, childcare. We're working longer hours. And technology has changed. So how we move around, we've got public transport, even things like use escalators or lifts. We're jumping in cars for short journeys. Maybe, I know my husband, he literally drives to the top of the road to the shops. Technology is changed, so there's more convenience. So things like how we shop, a click of a button, we can have things delivered to our door. We don't even need to leave the house. Things like takeaways, delivery, we've got Uber Eats, Just Eat, we can have food delivered to our homes again. Things like washing machines, washing our clothes. Our grandparents used to hand wash their clothes, so they're using up energy just by doing day-to-day tasks, where now we have washing machines, we have microwaves, we can order food, we don't need to cook. Fewer people are doing manual work, and most of us have jobs that involve less physical activity. So there's a lot of computers doing the work for us, where it used to be sort of manual task. I don't know if anyone's touched on that. So things like the cost of doing physical activity. So joining clubs can be quite costly. You have memberships to carry out, and time as well. So if we've got busy lifestyles, it's where we can fit in physical activity. So if we look at ways of overcoming some of these barriers, so things like cost, so you don't necessarily have to join a membership at a gym or a sports club. There's other ways of doing physical activity which would be free of charge, and we'll look into the different ways of fulfilling our physical activity needs later on in the talk. Things like time, how can we implement physical activity throughout the day, so we don't necessarily have to be attending a session. We can fit that in the way that we're traveling to school or work, and the type of activity that we're doing can all contribute to physical activity. And again, we'll look more into that in a minute. If we go to the next slide. I've just touched on that message. So during the sort of lockdowns, people have been able to do a lot more physical activity, but I think it's a balance between the two, because some people are sort of working from home, especially the first lockdown, working from home and then trying to balance homeschooling maybe. It's sort of less time than before trying to fit in physical activity, where others have had that extra time. So we've had things like Joe Wicks, that was quite good. Although me and my daughter, we did start off, I think we did the first week or 2 weeks, and that sort of slowly dwindled as the weeks went on. So the health benefits of being physically active. So the main thing is it can reduce your risk of major illnesses such as heart disease, strokes, type 2 diabetes and cancers, and that's by up to 50%. Improves attention levels and performance at school. Develops coordination, strengthens muscles and bones, maintaining a healthy weight. So looking at that energy balance, the energy that we're eating, the food that we're eating, it needs to be burnt off. Helps you sleep better, and it improves your mood. So it gives off them good endorphins and makes you feel good. So the next slide, how much physical activity should children be doing? So this program we usually deliver as Lean Beans, and we look at ages between 5 to 12-year-olds. So it's for 5 to 16-year-olds, you should be carrying out 60 active minutes a day. So this 60 active minutes, it doesn't have to be done all at once. It can be broken down into increments. So sort of 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here. And that can be factored in throughout the day. So children may do a PE lesson at school. So by the time they get sort of ready and dressed, they might have an hour for PE. By the time they get ready, get out, you're probably only doing around 20 to 30 minutes for your PE lesson. Even active play, so at lunchtime and breaks, if they're playing tag in the playground, climbing, playground frames, that can contribute to physical activity. The way that you're travelling to and from school, so you're riding a bike or scootering, this can all contribute to that 60 minutes a day. So even things like doing chores, the kids will be saying no, that can also be factored in. So hoovering, maybe dancing around, making up a dance at home, an obstacle course, you've got a trampoline in the garden, it all contributes. If people want to know about different age groups of how much physical activity, so a 0 to 1 year old should be doing 30 minutes, and that's things like tummy time, rolling activities. 1 to 4 year old should be doing 180 minutes a day, and again that involves things like playing, active play, moving around, and then adults, so 16 plus, would be 150 minutes a week. Don't get scared, it's not a day. So 150 minutes a week. The activity that you should be doing, children and adults, should be of a moderate intensity. So everyone's moderate intensity, again, is going to be different. So for instance, someone might be working at a moderate intensity if they're just climbing the stairs, whereas others could be doing a spin class and working at a moderate intensity. So to know that if you're working at that level, you should be able to talk but not sing whilst you're doing that activity. So if you're doing your activity and you're easily singing along, then you need to work a little bit harder. Yeah, so you should be able to carry out a conversation but not be able to sing. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the types of activity, so moderate intensity aerobic activity, so things like walking, running, cycling, as I said, housework, garden, like lawn mowing. This is all classed as aerobic, and you should be working at the moderate level. To maintain a basic level of health, children and young people aged 5 to 18 need to do at least 60 minutes of activity every day, and they should combine both moderate activity and vigorous. So on 3 days a week, these activities should involve exercises for strong muscles and bones. So a more vigorous activity would be things like aerobics, sprinting, swimming, like a martial arts club. Muscle strengthening and bone strengthening activities would include things like jumping, climbing, skipping, hopping, push-ups. So it needs to be a combination of all of them activities. Next slide. So how do we get 60 active minutes each day? Should have asked this before. So any ideas how you can implement them? I've given some ideas throughout the talk. So someone's got gymnastics. I think I see a comment earlier about doing exercise just before, in the morning. So I've got people a part of sports clubs already. Do the stairs instead of the lift. Excellent. how are we travelling to school? So if there is a need to get public transport, if you live far away from school, maybe getting off the bus a couple stops before the school, so then you can walk the rest of the way or jog. And if you do live close by, then find different ways like walking, scootering, roller skating. Other things, so during the lockdown, we've seen a lot of online activities. So I know we work with Everyone Active, who run our 2 council leisure centres, Beconshire Heath and Abbey Leisure Centre, and they've put a lot of their sessions online for us and for the community. Even making up your own things indoors, so active play, making an assault course indoors or in the garden. Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're part of a sports club. Okay, next slide. So I've mentioned we work with Everyone Active, so pre-COVID, pre-lockdown, we worked with them and had a timetable of activities, mostly run at Beconshire Heath Leisure Centre. So hopefully, sort of after sort of the lockdown, after Christmas, the activities will commence. So they've got things like football, badminton. Oh, someone's mentioned that. Yeah, cricket at the leisure centre. So you can go to a sports centre, a leisure centre, a sports club, and we do work with a lot of local sports clubs. So things like Be Fit Today, who run the athletics club over Jim Peters Stadium. Football clubs, Barking Football Club we work with, rugby, Dagenham Rugby Club. Other services as part of the Healthy Lifestyle team, we have the Street Tag app. So you download the app through Google Play on your phone, and then situated in different parks around the borough are sort of barcodes, and then each barcode you reach, you tap the phone, and it collects points. So we do run regular competitions throughout the year. So you can have a team, like a family team or a group of friends. Obviously, the more points you get, the more prizes. So top winners, I think they won mountain bikes last time, and scooters. And then we've got things like bags, bottles that we give away for participating. And I know the schools jumped on board, so I think there was school competitions going ahead as well. Who's that saying? Whose school come first last time? I missed the comment.
I think it was Ripple. We've got someone from Ripple Primary School.
Ripple, yeah. Okay. We've also got our Schools Out Get Active, so it's our holiday programme. So during summer and October half terms and school holidays, we work with the local sports clubs to run usually face-to-face sessions, and that ranges from multi-sports camps that could be week-long. So you'll go Monday to Friday, 9 till 3 o'clock each day, and do different sports activities as part of that, or sports specific camps. So we've had things like fencing, canoeing, street dance, cheerleading, rugby, football, lots of different sports. Obviously, because of COVID, we brought our summer program online. So there were lots of virtual activities going on through the summer holiday. We also work with a cooking company who were delivering food parcels to people that signed up, and then they were carrying out the cooking class online, and then usually that happens face to face. So we have cooking camps going on as well. So hopefully we can get back to normal. We have our face to face camps happening. In Easter holiday, we will be the next one. 10-minute shake up is change. We work with Change for Life, so they have a multitude of different activities that you can do, and 10-minute shake up is lots of different activities. It can be for one person to take part, to a group of friends to do a game together, and they're all Disney related as well. So have a look on the Change for Life website for that. Also as well, if you look on our website, it's www.lbbd.gov.uk healthy lifestyles. We have an online program happening, and then that will give you links to the sports clubs that we work with and any other activities that and sessions that are going on. Next slide. Okay, so quick activity, we should be able to fit this in. So when I'm talking about how much energy, food that we need to eat to burn off certain foods. So a little task, we've got minutes of an activity that used up the energy equivalent of a certain food. And then we've got the minutes at the bottom. So we've got 60 minutes, 142 minutes, 34 minutes, and 98 minutes. So if you match or have a think about how many minutes it would take to burn off minutes of jogging, and look at the activity that they're doing. Jogging that used the energy equivalent of McDonald's medium fries. How many minutes of cycling that used the energy equivalent of a Pizza Hut regular margarita. The minutes of swimming that used the energy equivalent of a ham and cheese panini, and the minutes of brisk walking that use up the energy equivalent of a Big Mac. So if you want to put it on the chat, so even if you think it's 60 minutes of brisk walking that use the energy equivalent of a Big Mac, you can put that in yellow. Minutes of, is that for fries? 34 minutes. Someone thinks. Any other guesses before we go on? 60 minutes for the panini. $98 for the Big Mac. Right. Okay, can we reveal? $142 for the pizza. Yeah, someone just got that in. So 142 minutes of cycling to use up the energy equivalent of a Pizza Hut regular margarita. 34 minutes of jogging that use up the energy of a McDonald's medium fries. So if you think, so things like 98 minutes of brisk walking that use the energy equivalent of a Big Mac. So Big Mac, and then 34 minutes for the fries, and then you might also have a cola with that. Yeah. So that's a lot of exercise to burn off and create that energy deficit. And if you think, some people might go through the day and have a couple of these items. So you might have McDonald's for lunch, and then a pizza for dinner. So 142 minutes of cycling just to burn off that Pizza Hut, a regular margarita. So that's just cheese. So if you think of other pizzas where you're adding things like pepperoni and other toppings, again, that's going to be a lot higher. So if you are looking to lose weight, it's sort of looking at the types of food that you're eating. So I think the 60 minutes of swimming, of a ham and cheese panini, I think this is if it was sort of shop bought. So things like the sauce that they're putting in the panini, you have to take into consideration, and the bread, like things like, I think Subway come up the other day. The bread, one of the breads that they use has got a lot of sugar in. Okay, so we've not got a lot of time. So also looking at things like screen time, so sedentary activity, so where you're sitting and you're watching a screen. So the screen these days can be the TV, can be your phone, can be the laptop. So a lot of children are on social media, watching YouTube. So if you actually look at how much time is spent on screen time, you'll be quite surprised. So too much screen time can increase your child's risk of becoming obese, because it's a lot of sitting and not moving. Make it harder to get your child to go to bed and fall asleep at night. Increase the chance that your child will develop attention problems like anxiety and depression. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, Edmund, can you go downstairs? Sorry, I've just got my daughter that's coming. Mummy. 1 second. Okay, so screen time can increase your child's risk of obesity. As I said, a lot of sedentary activity, even things like the adverts on TV can influence what you eat. So you might be sorry, yeah, my daughter coming. I nearly got through the session. So things like adverts would be promoted at children. So things like cereals. If you see a lot of cereals have got characters on bright colours, that will sort of prompt your child to want to eat that cereal. And as we know, cereals are high in sugar, most of them. Okay, last thing quickly to talk about is sleep. And next slide. So it's very important that your child gets the right amount of good quality sleep, as it helps children to fight sickness and grow well. So how much sleep does your child need? So you've got 7 to 8 year olds, minimum sleep needed is 10 to 12 hours, and an 8 to 13 year old is 10 hours. So, and from there, 14 plus is 8 hours of sleep. So if you count back of what time they get up for school, and try and make sure that they get the correct amount of time. So when your child gets enough sleep, they'll be in a better mood and get along with the family a lot. So the mood will be better. And not getting enough sleep can leave us feeling sluggish and tired. Next slide. I think it gives some tips on getting enough sleep. So have a quick look at these. So don't let your child watch TV or play computer games for at least 30 minutes before they go to bed. Have a good routine. Don't give your child a meal just before bed. Try and leave a few hours between dinner and bedtime. lots of healthy exercise during the day will help use up the energy that might keep your child awake at night. Yep. So a good routine is still good for an older child, not just for babies. So any other questions?
Where's your belly button?
No, I don't think we've got any more questions coming through.
Mummy.
No, so thank you, Natalie.